Welcome back, Night Owls. This is Dr. Nighttime, and tonight I'm going to present the derivation of a couple formulas that are often presented without derivation. These are, as the title suggests, the formulas for the sine and cosine of the sum of two angles. In most Algebra 2 or trigonometry classes, these formulas are formulas that that instructors expect you to know. But I found more often than not, instructors just don't discuss where these come from and ask you to just take these on faith. So, first thing I want to do is I want to come up with a geometric representation of the sum of two angles. So here I have an angle alpha here on this blue triangle, and an angle beta on this red triangle. All these are, of course, inside of a unit circle, right? I didn't show that radius is 1, but it's implied. So radius of this circle is going to be 1. And the location of this pink dot up here, that's pretty clearly going to correspond to an angle of alpha plus beta when measured in the standard way of counterclockwise from the positive x direction, angle in standard position. And obviously, if you remember your properties of the unit circle, the x-coordinate is going to be the cosine of the angle, and the y-coordinate is going to be the sine of the angle. Trouble is, how do we calculate that? So first thing we'll want to do is find just the coordinates of that green dot. So if you'll notice, this purple line segment here, that's going to have length cosine beta. And if this red radius up here is 1, and this is angle beta, then this purple line segment is going to be cosine beta. So now we have a triangle here. This angle here is still alpha. I didn't want the diagram to get too cluttered, but this is going to be an alpha here. And so this horizontal component here in gray is going to be cosine beta times cosine alpha. This one here is going to be cosine beta times sine alpha. So to get from the origin to the green dot, you go to the right by cosine beta cosine alpha, and then up by cosine beta sine alpha. Now we want to know, well, how do I get from the green dot to the pink dot? And so we've got our directions to go from the origin to the green dot. You go sideways to the left by cosine beta cosine alpha, and up by cosine beta sine alpha. Now the next thing we need to notice is that this angle down here, if this is alpha, then this angle here must also be alpha. Right? And you can visualize that by just rotating everything over. You realize for this to be a 90-degree angle, these two angles have to be the same size. And this purple line segment, well, if this red radius is still a 1, and this is angle beta here, then this purple line segment has to be sine beta. So now you've got a right triangle here with these two gray line segments and the purple line segment. The hypotenuse is sine beta. You've got this angle alpha here. So that means this vertical piece is sine beta cosine alpha. And this horizontal piece is sine beta sine alpha. So again, to go from origin to green dot, as we saw before, you go to the right by cosine beta cosine alpha and up by sine beta sine alpha. By cosine beta sine alpha. And now you go up sine beta cosine alpha and to the left by sine beta cosine alpha, sine beta sine alpha. So right, up, left. So if I were to come up with directions to go from the origin to the pink dot, I say first move to the right by cosine beta cosine alpha, and then up by sine alpha cosine beta. Then you move to the left by sine alpha sine beta, and up by cosine alpha sine beta. So your total upward motion is sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. Right? Just the two upward steps that you take. The total rightward motion, you go cosine beta cosine alpha to the right, and then sine alpha sine beta to the left. This means that your total x-coordinate is going to be cosine alpha cosine beta minus sine alpha sine beta. Right? That's the amount you went right in the first step minus the amount that you went left in the second step. Your y-coordinate is going to be sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. Those are the two upward steps you can take. And so what that means, we said that the coordinates of that pink dot were going to be, x-coordinate was going to be cosine of alpha plus beta, y-coordinate was sine of alpha plus beta. So we show that cosine alpha plus beta equals cosine alpha cosine beta minus sine alpha sine beta. And y-coordinate is sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. So we have our familiar formulas for sine and cosine of the sum of two angles, derived using some geometry. The picture gets a little cluttered, but as long as you can follow the logic of moving to the right and then up and to the left, then it all works out. I hope you found this explanation useful, and as always, if you like the way I explain things and want to arrange private lessons, click the link in the description below. And until next time, this is Dr. Nighttime wishing you a good night.